You're so fine. Welcome to the Fantasy Formula. As you can see, we've got no Adam, so I really can't promise you how this live stream is going to go at all. Zach's in control of technical stuff. I'm here drinking coffee, and between the two of us, we'll hopefully answer some questions and see some lineups. But welcome, Zach. Where are you? You look like you're like on some tour of the country this week.
Oh, I know. I've been everywhere and anywhere at this point. And right now I'm sitting very pretty in Devon, which is quite nice. But the grind never stops for F1 Fantasy, and I'm really excited to get into this week.
Oh, lots to talk about, lots of choices. And just for a bit of context, I haven't actually locked in my team. So genuinely sat firmly on the fence, the one that goes across, not up, which looks like a railroad. But yeah, so lots to talk about, mainly so I can lock my team in. So yeah, what's your thoughts, mate, on what we've seen so far? Should we have a look at some results and some sort of pre-practice?
I think that perfectly brings us, to practice 3, where, my word, Norris and Piastri, you could not separate them. It's really, really close. And I really do think between everyone, it is a 50-50 who thinks which asset you should have. Now, realistically, in F1 Fantasy, still looks like Piastri would be the better option just because he needs less points to get that 0.3 million increase. But then it's the likes of Russell that interested me because in FP2, Mercedes were nowhere. And then they've really come back. So how do you think they'll be this?
Temperatures. We keep saying it. Yeah, how many times have we said it this year? Yeah, the W15 didn't like the cold. The W16 pre-season was obviously cold. Didn't see a lot of hot weather running. Lo and behold, here we are again. Even Toto himself was saying last week that once the weather drops, the temperature drops, that Mercedes comes alive. So even so, they've obviously found some performance gains. It still seems to suffer from that inherent W15 problems with warm weather running, which I know it's not cold. Let's be honest. It's Saudi Arabia. It's not cold, but it's cold compared to FP2 and those sort of times, isn't it? Really. So yeah, lots to talk about. And just say a quick hello to everyone in chat. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Like I say, hopefully you'll still be here next week after we've completely railroaded this without Adam. Just a quick one. If you are in the chat and you do feel able to, just drop us a like, and then soon we can get to like 100 likes. We can start reading some lineups and start talking about them. So, good to have you all here. Nice, yeah. You know, yeah, you like that? That was smooth. That was good. That was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think coming at the practice results, it comes straight onto what are the betting odds at the minute, and again. Because Adam is not showing it at the minute, it's not in the American odds at the minute, but it's showing, as we said in practice 3, 2.25 to 2.25 Lando and Oscar. Even they can't separate them, and everyone else is miles off.
Oh, and that Red Bull and Max Verstappen just lurking, isn't it? It just keeps just when you write them off, just when everyone sits there and goes, "Oh, it's a weekend, high speed track, not really suit him." Bang! Out pops Max in that Red Bull again, just to put that spanner right in the works, isn't it? Just to say, actually, here I am, ready to pounce if something happens with those two McLarens. That's the thing, isn't it? That's what I feel like it.
And honestly, I wouldn't put it past him. I really wished that I could be looking a bit more at the likes of Verstappen and Leclerc in my teams. But just with the way how F1 Fantasy's gone this season, even though I could see Verstappen throwing it into the mix of the McLarens, it's just too much budget issues with him.
Yeah. I think, from a budgeting and just how much he takes up, still, it's still not a viable option, is it? But, interesting. All the questions firing already. Like everyone's on the Alonso train seems to be in the Gasly train, isn't it? This weekend.
Yes.
Definitely got some takers at the station for those guys, haven't we? That's for sure.
I know. What's it called? Simon asks Gasly plus Bortoleto or Ocon and Bortoleto. And this is another one where I wish I could give like a full answer. Yeah. But Gasly looks good this weekend, but he's most likely going to go down minus 0.2. And then potentially, if Gasly doesn't perform amazingly in Jeddah as well, then it could have just been easier to stick with Ocon, because I think most people would have Ocon in their team and it'd be a transfer to go over to Gasly. And I think that's a bit of the issue as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with regards to Bortoleto, he's reporting a bit of a problem again in that engine, right at the back end of FP3. I've not seen an update on it, to be honest, and there's not a lot of talk on what's going on. There was something in there which, once again, he said Obviously, had problems with it in FP2 as well. But yeah, Michael's just literally put it in the chat there. There's definitely something going on with Bortoletto's and his engine, but I can't find any concrete info to what it actually was. It was literally a very flippant comment right at the end saying that he felt like he had a problem, but that's been it. It's been like deathly silent since. So yeah.
I mean, points wise, it would still hurt if he did get a DNF. So be careful of that, everyone, because I know we do love him as the budget who can't go down, and that is fantastic. But yeah, if he has some of these issues, that's a little bit of a worry.
I mean, realistically, what's going to happen? Realistically, something would happen to him in qualifying. He'd be at the back of the grid, but then he would have a fresh engine in it. From that point of view, he'd start at the back of the grid anyway. Realistically, he's probably going to be back towards there anyway. And he'd have a fresh engine in. So I suppose the big question is, it depends what happens and what they're going to do with regards to that engine. They're not going to have time, I don't think, to swap it over before qualifying. So that's pretty much a run with it. They might then take a gamble if he's in the back of the grid anyway to change it before the race, just to play safe if he's having problems, because why wouldn't you? Start him from the back of the grid, no problem at all. If you're already there, it's kind of like a no-brainer, isn't it? The danger, I suppose, is if they decide to try and run him through the race with problems with his engine, that's when it becomes that minus
dangerous territory.
Dangerous territory. Yeah, absolutely. Overtake Central's put no negative this weekend. I don't feel it's a no negative weekend. It is high speed. There are a lot of rookies. I can see with that. That's famous last words. We might as well clip that because we're probably going to get about 20 out now. But it's famous last words. We said the same for Australia, didn't we? But for me, I think there's more riskier tracks on the calendar to, Monaco, for example, tracks like that. I think there's more riskier ones for that one. Yeah, exactly. I've just jinxed a whole grid there. So if you haven't already, play negative because of what I just said.
But yeah, honestly, coming back to our tier list now, Lewis Hamilton, he's still in sell just because he is quite pricey, considering you could probably just bring in one of the Mercedes drivers or Piastri and they're easier or the same level of gaining budget. And with Hamilton, I know normally in F1 Fantasy, it's better to qualify lower. We actually like that. But I always do worry when I do see it, because then if he does have the likes of both Mercedes, Verstappen, even Tsunoda potentially in the mix, then it could get a little bit harder at a track like Jeddah as well.
Yeah, and he's not shown great overtaking really in that Ferrari, has he? The tracks he's done well at, he's tended to be a lot higher up rather than coming through. I know he came through a bit in the first race, so China is probably the one that springs to mind. Obviously, then that disqualification, but I'm not too sure in amongst this why actually, what you gain from running him in that sense. I don't think there's enough overtaking here. It's one of the lowest on the calendar last year. I know we've got a softer tyre compound this year to try and spice it up a bit, but I'm not convinced we're going to see a huge amount of overtaking. It doesn't feel like it's going to be, much action, is it? A lot of class here about Gasly. Obviously, he sat on our fence. Gasly's he's just an unknown, isn't he?
It just comes down to all of that budget. And actually, I might just quickly head back over to the budget building section, because it's just to put it into perspective why Gasly's still on the fence. He will probably score good. But even at a weekend like this, if Gasly, let's say, qualified 8th, that is 3 points, I believe, in qualifying. And then let's say he finished in 8th, being nice to him. That's then, I believe, 4 points. So 7 points for Gasly. If let's just say get rid of the overtakes for now, because we can't really get that. But are we really expecting Gasly to get 6 overtakes or more, considering he needs 13 to get to that 0.02 increase? And that's the issue with most of them, and why they're all on our little, not railroad anymore, fence. Because all of these drivers, they just need so much to go up in budget. And that's why you will get onto these teams, which I've been talking about quite a bit, where you actually sack off some of the B tier drivers, because a lot of them look like they could be going down 0.2.
Yeah, so one of the other questions, why buy Kimi? Now, Kimi is in here for if you want to try something a bit different, isn't he? So we're not really saying the Mercedes drivers are your 2X drivers. What we're saying is you could probably go for, some people have got in their budget, haven't they? They got the Piastri, McLaren, and then if you switch down to Haas, you can kind of slide in one of the Mercedes drivers, can't you? Tend to probably more Kimi, can't you? From what I can see, you can bring Kimi in, so that's what kind of brings him into play if you're running that Haas constructor for that budget gain, isn't it? It kind of then plays open to a second solid driver, from the A category, doesn't it? Really, from that point of view, it's probably why he's up there.
It's one of those things I mentioned earlier as well, because there's just so little B-tier drivers that can physically go up unless they have astonishing weekends. Antonelli and Russell, worst case scenario, even if they got a minus 0.1, you're still better off than if you had a B-tier driver. And then Haas are such an easy one to go up as well in budget. That's why 100% I wouldn't be suggesting Antonelli as a 2 times, but it's just maintaining the budget.
I mean, Kimi worries me. He's absolutely awesome driver, but he's so on the limit that it worries me around here that he drives literally on the limit all the time, which is great to watch, by the way. If you want to watch a fantastic bit of qualifying, go on board with Kimi, because you will see literally inch up to the rails, riding the curbs. But I think he can make for a bit nervous on that one. Alpine constructor over Haas. That's no one I'm seeing in there. Zach, what's the scores for that one?
See, now it's the exact same thing that what happened in Japan earlier, where it's a situation where Haas, unless they really, really screw it up, they're not going to go down in budget. They'll get that 0.6 million. Whereas Alpine, Doohan's been all right. He's had quite a few incidents, which is what worries me about them. Because if they did get a minus 20, that's wraps, and they aren't going up in budget. And then all of a sudden, you're losing out points by having the Alpine over the likes of a Mercedes or a Ferrari as your second constructor, and it can really just crumble apart. And I do just think Behrman at Haas, obviously being a rookie, however, he's been at a track like this with Ocon, I think it's the safer option.
Right, a couple of things. So I can see in there that FP3 sims are out, but also in the poll, which is, what's your take on Limitless? So at the moment, we've got 44% saving it for Miami, 42% are waiting for later on in the season, 8% are using it this weekend, 4% are already using it, and some of us, like Terry, really can't decide what to do. That's not an option on the poll, but my dilemma, and it's a genuine dilemma. So the reason I've not locked my team in, because Limitless appeals to me on the sense of that top 5 looks quite solid from what we're seeing now. In terms of the drivers, that's what I would have picked for my top 5 drivers, to be honest, with that lineup. But the constructors are the one that's getting me. So one, it involves taking Doohan into obviously Miami, and the points, but the budget sort of lost potential on that one, because obviously you don't get your transfers, that side of things. The second one for me is I'm literally looking at it going, actually, if you make the gamble now and it works, this could put you in a great driving seat in terms of being different from the competition. But do I go Ferrari as a second constructor, or do I play safe and go Mercedes? Bear in mind, most people will go Mercedes. So I'm looking at you in the chat, Zach, for some inspiration here to roll without Adam here to talk me out of it. By the way, it's hiding in the chocolate biscuit. Yeah, Adam's hiding in the chat. Look, hiding in his.
Oh yeah, I see him.
that sounds so wrong. There's just so many things wrong with that vision.
Limitless for me, I mean, I've been quite vocal on sticking with the plan of Miami, and that is still, again, just because I get that no matter what happens in a situation like the B-tier drivers going up or down doesn't really affect it, because when I use Limitless, that will have the same effect. But I still just can't get over, I just feel like it's a bit of a rush into the Limitless sort of thing. And I also think if you think a track where you can't overtake well, and the drivers and constructors that score bigger, the big teams, I would even say pushing it to Imola after Miami would also be a situation you could use. So for me, Miami's the sweet spot where I set my team up for it if I use it at that circuit. And then if we have a DNF or something, I can easily swap over to a team that doesn't lose budget. And then I could use Limitless at the weekend of Imola. So I think that's where my head is at for Limitless. But yeah, there's so many different strategies you could use for it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm thinking of also updates. So updates for me, we know they're coming at Imola, Stroke Miami. They're the two. Ferrari have got theirs a bit earlier. That's what's happened. So what you're currently seeing on the Ferrari is they've rushed it forward, basically. But for me, that can upset the apple cart, as we saw last year with McLaren in Miami. So I suppose for me, it's will that change the pecking order? And then you've got to spend a lot of money to get out of it, in the sense of suddenly someone turns up in Miami at the sprint. They're really strong, but we can't do anything about it because we're locked into this meta team that we've all got. So I suppose that's where my thinking is, which would then start costing you a lot in transfer points again to get out of it, that side of things. So I think that's why I'm toying with the idea. I mean, I'm looking now, it's saying, so my Limitless team here apparently is McLaren, Mercedes, Norris, Piastri, Russell, Verstappen and Leclerc, according to the Sims, which is the post, the FP3 one. Or they're even dropping a Red Bull in there as the second constructor. Now that's just thrown me out, if I'm honest. I don't trust Yuki that much on that final turn.
Yeah, true. He did crash, didn't he?
Yeah. You know, I don't know. See, that kind of feels okay with that Mercedes as the second one. Ferrari look like they've dropped off a bit, but again, only a couple of points behind. If you go Ferrari, they're definitely going Leclerc as the top Ferrari driver, which I'd agree with. So
the other issue is as well, of course, if you did Limitless with that team, where are you putting the 2 times?
Norris, well, that's what I mean. I mean that's a coin toss in its own, isn't it? I don't know. I mean, I'll probably Norris on that one, but whichever one you pick is going to be the other one, isn't it? Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
You know, I like I say, it's such a tough one. I mean, Joe says it's not worth it. So Joe's on the don't use it yet fence. My worry is everyone's going to use it at the same time, and then you lose the effect of it. Yeah, because
a lot of people will be using it in Miami. 100%.
Yeah, I think to gain it, I mean, that one still gets to be potentially like $1 million in budget as well. So there's a kind of a caveat to that as well from that point of view. I
will say as well with the Limitless, because I want to make sure that people do know this as well, because we had a few comments about it as well, where people were asking if we could Limitless later on in the season. And just to reiterate with that, the issue with doing something like that is obviously with all of us trying to budget build up to these big teams, by the end of the season, more than likely everyone's going to have 2 8-year drivers or more potentially. I mean, last year Leapers had 3 8-year drivers and 2 8-year constructors. Yeah. So then your teams are very close to what you could, obviously not a Limitless, but you're only 2 assets off what you could use in a Limitless. Whereas at this point of the season, you're around 4 assets off what you can use in Limitless, which just makes it so much more powerful.
That's what I mean. I mean, you know, so huge thank you to Zach for liking the video so we can see some lineups and stop us talking. Appreciate that. But yeah, there's a hint there. We'll have to see what we're at now. What we're at in terms of likes, get some lineups on again.
We are at 58 likes in a minute. Let's get to 60 and then we'll show some. I'll go with team selections at 60.
The team selection at 60. Don't make me log on and do it because it'll cause all sorts of technical problems. You know, just to like it so we see some lineups. Alonso or Durham, which one would you go for? That's been in the chat quite a lot. Durham this weekend, what's he doing in terms of price this weekend? Is he fine?
His price is okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go back to the budget building. His price is good. But the issue is that's why it's Alonso or Durham. They're basically exactly the same.
Got you.
Almost identical for that.
I mean, experience, you go Alonso from just experience being around Jeddah and obviously less risk. Aston Martin don't look hugely good, that point of view. I hope that's 60 likes and you haven't just frozen. But yeah, so I think you know, from that point of view, I would say it's a personal preference. Points wise and budget wise, they're the same. But I think in terms of, you know, Alonso or Durham, it's a tough one on this one. I look, we lost that now. It's just me. We just keep talking to me. Right, I'm going to answer some questions while we try and get Zach back. You don't lose the effect, you just don't lose out. Absolutely right on that one. So I've got 2 teams in mini leagues. Do you recommend going for Limitless same weekend or splitting strategy? I would split strategy if you've got 2 teams. Absolutely. Yeah, I would absolutely change the 2 over. Are you back with me, Zach? He's kind of there.
I think I'm back. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah. Someone's asked you to refresh your budget builder in case it's the wrong one. We've got part of that back. Got loads of technical problems, aren't you? If I have 3 trades, you use Limitless. Do I reset to 2 trades afterwards? Yes, you do. So you lose all any transfers you carry over, Jeffrey. So any transfers that you carry over, you lose on that point of view. So what you get is you don't carry anything over. So you just come with the team you've got currently for the following week, and then your normal 2 transfers. That is a great pose, Zach. I don't know if you can hear me, but I love the pose on that one. Zach's borrowed Adam's.
Oh, I can hear you again. Am I back?
You are back.
Right, let's hope it carries on, sticking with what it was.
It was a great thumbs up time, by the way. It was brilliant. During Alonso, we've answered that they're both the same. It's a personal choice on which one you wanted to go, really. Absolute cinema, you're right, overtake central. It is brilliant. You can't make this stuff up, you know. But likewise, if you haven't liked already, and we've gone through all of that technical problems, you need to be hitting that like button just for pure comedy value, if nothing else.
Oh gosh.
So
I would say so. That is timeline.
Yeah, go for it. Get the man a faster
Team selection time.
Yeah, please do before we lose you again, because I've got no access to any lineups. So we need to get some lineups on just for pure comedy value.
Right, so we start off with LH Ferrari, and that's a very familiar name I recognize. And he says my choices are limitless. Now, Terry, which one are you going for?
So yeah, this is obviously Rick. Rick's been messaging all week, bless him. Obviously toying with still not having no Ferrari in his lineup, still not having any Lewis in his lineup. So he's got. I mean, Williams. I think Williams could be underrated in terms of what they're doing this weekend. I feel they're stronger than what some of the sims are showing. If I'm honest, 2 experienced drivers. So we go back to the Alpine sort of side of things, and having Duran as a potential issue, even Mercedes having Kimi as a risk. You'd kind of say that Williams with Carlos and Alex, you know, I'll jinx that one as well, that they should be fine. So let's jinx that one. I think that the first one's going to get you some good budget. I feel with obviously Haas getting a 0.6 increase, and potentially Williams drivers. The second one, Hulkenberg, I'd switch out at the moment. I definitely wouldn't have Hulkenberg in there at all. So I'd definitely switch Hulkenberg out from that point of view. For probably Alonso rather than Lawson, if I'm honest. So
Lawson and Alonso, interesting situations, because Alonso's got less average points over the last 2 race weekends, but of course he's quite a bit cheaper. He's about 1 million to 2 million less than Lawson, and of course Lawson, even though he had a decent weekend in Bahrain points wise, it means he needs to get more, of course. But yeah, for me, I think Team 2 would. It's definitely the points way. It's just the only issue I have with Team 2 is I can't see really any budget gaining ability, and it really does depend if you really want to go full points.
Yeah,
because there really isn't no budget gaining. In that setting.
Points 2 will probably give you more points, Rick. I'd say Team 1 will give you more budget, and so going back to, I think Nicholas just dropped in chat quickly. So you said about -10. I'll be wary about taking any minuses this week with the amount of overtakes that I think it might damage you points wise from that point of view. But it does depend on what you've got there. It's a tough call. I think it's going to be quite close points wise, so you might lose some ground. But if you're aiming for Haas maybe to get some budget, it might be worth it from that point of view. And depending on what you're trying to do.
As well. A message about potentially updated budget increases. So I'll quickly head over to F1 Fantasy Tools.
Yeah, I think that they've dropped FP3 out, so I think that's maybe what they're saying. Yeah.
Right, I see. Yes, and it's showing all the percentages. Yeah, okay, and it's along the lines of what we thought.
Yeah. Fast Edge has asked this one a couple of times. He's got two teams in mini leagues. You recommend going for Limitless same weekend or splitting strategy? I'm thinking Miami. I'd be tempted to split it, to be honest. If you got 2 teams,
I agree.
I think if you've got two teams on the go, I know they might be in two different mini leagues potentially, but I would be tempted to roll the dice on it and kind of split it. It's a perfect opportunity on that one. Rick saying on his when he didn't have any transfer penalties, I'll probably go for team one, Rick, to be honest, on that one we just put up.
Now moving on to Tony's team selection.
Wow.
109.2 million, 71,000th wildcard in China. So a very similar situation to what we've got going on at the minute.
Yeah.
And I see. So they could just like stick with their Bahrain team, which is definitely good for points. I still do like team one. However, I do like the roll one. Bortoleto just getting rid of Doohan, just getting rid of that minus 0.2 potential loss from Doohan. I think that would be worth it. Then it's, of course, that Ferrari question mark.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fancy Ferrari enough over Mercedes still in a straight sort of, fight on that one. Lewis is not showing me enough at the moment, unfortunately, to sort of go on that one still. I mean, team two is probably where I'm. If I don't do a Limitless, team two is probably where I'm going. Where I'll start doing for Bortoleto, and hope they solve that engine problem. To be honest, that's where I'm thinking. For me personally, and then you can roll one obviously into Miami, which gives you some options then into Miami. So the whole point of rolling one, the reason it feels quite good, it will give you free transfers in Miami if you didn't use Limitless. So like Zach's saying, if you want to use it for an Imola or later on, you've then got 3 pivots out of something that you may need it. Team that middle one, that roll one will still get you a good budget gain. Okay, not as much as if you're running Haas the second constructor, but then you should pick up more points by Mercedes on that point of view. So that's the thing for that one. I've just seen Big Man Rizzo said about Red Bull as a constructor. It'd be a different one, but I still got worries over Yuki. And pit stops concern me, if I'm honest. That gremlin that was in Bahrain was actually a technical problem. We don't know if they solved that, to be honest. It's the same garage setup they would have packed it from Bahrain and brought with them. So that's obviously a question mark as well. Not for 1 minute, I don't think Red Bull would have got on top of that, but it's out there. It's an outlying sort of form. They wouldn't have had time to swap that equipment over most likely or do a lot of work on it. So, yeah.
I've just seen also a question in the chat from F101. Now, I'm assuming you'd need quite a bit of budget for this.
Wow, triple McLaren.
Triple McLaren.
If you can run it, run it. Simple as that.
If you can, because that would be perfect going into Miami Limitless. But then again, if you did do Miami, I mean, even going into it, not using it, that's the best budget potential team. And with Piastri and Norris, you probably would get similar points to the Piastri McLaren Mercedes team.
I'm
it covers both off.
If you can triple McLaren without taking negative, absolutely run it all day long.
Yeah.
All day long.
Oh, and then Red Lantern. What do I do with 108.8 million? So 0.4 million more than me. And in the exact situation that we were both in last weekend, I believe, with that team selection.
Yes, yeah. So that's my current team. So at the moment, I haven't done anything to my team. So that's let me just double check what I'm currently sat at. So yeah, Piastri, Doohan, Ocon, Behrman, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes. So yeah, that's literally where I'm sat. Like I was saying, at the moment, I'm probably thinking maybe Doohan for Bortoleto to play safe, just to bring it out and then roll one, or go all in and go Limitless. That's where my mindset's currently sat. Jap for me just feels a risk, but that's a personal thing.
It's so weird though how like so many different strategies can be the right move as well, because it really is like you can stick with a team like this and go great for points, and it's going to work out perfectly for you. You can potentially use Limitless this weekend with a team like this, and it would be fine. And then you could also go to that maintaining budget build.
You could drop that Mercedes out, go for a hat, and then bring in like we said, a Kimi into that as well. With a Bortoleto, take a -10. There's all sorts of things you can still do with this, which would be, I mean, JS is the same. Just looking at it, it's
Oscar double has, wow,
absolutely. I'm just looking at that. So Zach FanAmp, if you shared your teams, we're still decided on ours. We haven't shared ours yet.
Well, actually,
have you shared
I have a little surprise for you. Actually,
what you shared?
I believe my scheduled one might have
Oh
actually
yeah,
come out.
here we
You
go.
want to have a
This
look at
is the Adam and Zach group chat that I keep getting.
that?
And they're scheduling.
Yeah,
the
do you actually?
post-fights and picking teams.
Should we have a look if Adam's put on his team first,
I
so
think
we
he
could
has.
have a look.
Let's have a look before we come
Let's
back
have
to
a
the.
look over here.
Here's Adam. Oh, refresh it. See
Let's
what
give
he's
it a
done.
refresh. And it's locked in.
Adam, if you're still in the bathroom, tell us you're thinking on this one.
And as you can see, Adam has gone for. He's gone for the big points.
Oh, he's gone for Gasly. See? Woo.
I like it. I do like it.
How many
Points-wise,
people
it's
are running
brilliant.
Gasly? Adam's won for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
I just wonder when.
different.
Yeah, I wonder when Adam will be using Limitless, because if it is for Miami, if Gasly has any issues, that could be a little bit of a worry.
What's he put? He's put Gasly did enough for pre-practice to convince me he could outscore Ocon. Maybe have a shot at a prize gain and at least stay on even footing for points and pounds in Miami. So there you go. You know, I mean, you know, Gasly seems to be what Monaco overtakes Central. That's obviously another track that's being hyped about Limitless. One thing I will say, Monaco. Remember, we've got 2 pit stop rule, which might shake it up. So I know a lot of people talk about Monaco. That's one to look out for, just to keep on your radar.
I also think as well, it's crazy to think because Monaco is not far away, but even Monaco for Limitless is pushing it, because by Monaco, people will probably be able to have 2 8-year drivers, at least like Piastri, Antonelli with McLaren and Mercedes.
Yeah. I mean, Adam's gone for that. Have you got yours, Zach?
I do. I'll get it up right now. At least it should be. Yep, there it is. Team locked. And I've gone for the opposite strategy.
I've gone for George and the budget build.
I have gone for the very much. I know last weekend I said one last weekend of budget building, but then all of this happened and I really did get swayed over on Twitter, because I can't stop thinking in my head where my mind is set on the Limitless in Miami. So Haas 0.6 million, almost guaranteed for Jeddah and Miami. Russell, again, if he just gets a minus 0.1, I'll still even be happy, because it's better than potentially what Gasly would get of a minus 0.2 this weekend. So I'd be happy there. And then obviously then I could Limitless. But then the great thing about this team as well is, because I'll get more budget than the rest of the other teams, if we do get a DNF somewhere, I can stick it out for one last weekend and then make it for the Limitless and Imola. So it really is just getting the team ready for a Limitless.
Yeah.
Which is my thinking for Jeddah. So I might be suffering a little bit on points.
Yeah, but like I said, that budget gain's worth it, isn't it, from that point of view? You know, and
it could be huge, the budget.
Cool. I like I like that one because of the budget gain. See, now I've got 3 options on the table now. Maybe we should put a poll on what should we do. Right. Before we go into the rest of the lineups, we need to do picks. Let's get picks on it, because if they don't do picks now, they won't have a chance to win, will they? So picks is obviously over on the FanAmp. So you basically go in, pick them before qualifying, pick them before the race itself. Make sure you lock them in. Don't be like me and keep forgetting to do them before the race, because then you got no chance. But yeah, so 5th gear Gardens with their gift card each weekend is amazing. So who qualifies P1 to P3? Quite similar in terms of McLaren, and obviously Max cropping up. Bit of a change with me. I went Oscar rather than Lando, but it was before pre-practice, to be honest. So before pre-practice 3, so that's quite interesting. Thanks for viewing. There you go.
I don't know where that clip came from.
So which
See, this is what happens when you got me on the technical difference.
Yeah, this is why we let Adam do the technical side normally. His broadband's rubbish, but he knows how to work a computer. So which of these teams has got the second best time in Q1? V-Carbo and Alpine. I'm not sure if I answered the question when I answered that one, but
I think I'm in a similar boat to you there. To be fair,
I think the words in that one caught me out. Fast to the speed trap, Charles Leclerc. Hopefully not while going into a wall if you're a Ferrari fan. And then obviously Lando, we've got how many rounds? Stroll doesn't look like he's going to out qualify Alonso, according to us, and Kimi doesn't look like he's going to out qualify Max or Lando, to be honest. So yeah, if you haven't already, head on over to the app Obviously, download it if you haven't. Go into there, make your picks, and you can win some 50 arm stuff, which is amazing stuff. To be fair, it's really good quality. So
Yeah,
right,
and it's always great fun doing these picks.
It is. It is. Get back on some lineups.
Yeah, Terry, you waiting for the last minute to get yours ready?
Absolutely, mate. I'm still undecided.
Right, so we have.
You'll see me in a minute just doing this, which would be me picking my lineup.
We have three teams here. Go all the way.
Don't forget to refresh as well.
Oh, of course, yes.
Because there'll be some more added in there.
Oh yeah, we've still got quite a few now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, let's speed run through these. Okay, so go all the way to the -10.
I imagine the questions will be the same when they. To be fair, I think there's lots of similar questions. To be honest.
Yeah. And again, it is. Look, it's the typical Bahrain team we saw.
Yeah.
To then going over to the budget building team that I was looking at, or again the budget building team with Alpine. Now I have seen a lot of messages talking about Alpine getting more expected points, and again, I just think if we're getting ready for a limitless weekend in Miami, play it safe. Because I really do worry about that -20 from doing if something happens, and then all of a sudden you're trying to get rid of Miami instead of using the Limitless. And if that happened to Haas, if one of them got at least 4 points and one of them got the -20, they'd still get that 0.6. So it's a little bit more leeway.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would go middle team on that one, definitely.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I like this. Okay. I'm not too sure about the free transfers.
Well, I imagine, so imagine one transfer is due out for Bortoletto, if I'm best in person. I reckon we'll go for the meta, aren't we, from last week? I would say middle one, 2 transfers. I think your middle one's giving you enough budget, doesn't get you -10, and gives you a nice bit of variation with Kimi in there to potentially pick up some points as well. So I would say middle one and not worry about the third transfer, to be honest.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things like we mentioned earlier with Antonelli and Russell, and even Hamilton to an extent, if you could put him in that second A-tier driver, where it sounds weird, but these sorts of teams we're looking at, especially, Team 2 and Team 3, it's all setting up for a limitless play, which would mean points don't matter as much for a race weekend now.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go second one, but
same here, yeah. Oh, so we've got a lot of people considering just sticking it with Bahrain.
Yep. And to be fair,
I do understand that.
Doing's okay. Like I say, we've been probably beaten. We've been beaten probably during a bit, to be fair. So apologies if Jack's watching before qualifying. I'm sure he's not, but just in case he might be, he might need to log his.
He's got to get his team ready.
He's got to get his team logged in. But I mean, he's looked better. I mean, a lot of talk about Jack actually staying until the summer now in terms of speculation about his future. A lot of positive talk this week about Jack's just Alpine future in general, that he's been showing quite a lot of promise, and that Alpine are ready to stay with him to the summer. Might be reflected a bit with his performance. I'm not sure I'd move away from Mercedes to that Ferrari still. I think Mercedes will give you more points than what Ferrari will. Ferrari have been good on pit stops, but I worry about Lewis is qualifying and what Lewis is doing around here. So that's probably my big concern with the Ferrari constructor by doing this one.
I've just seen a message as well in the chat. Question to me with the Haas stuff for Limitless.
Flashes eyes back.
Yeah, so with Haas now and then you decide to run Limitless in Imola. Yeah, I get that. Well, it makes sense to have Haas in the sprint weekend on Jeddah. So if something like that happened, it probably would be you'd either have to suck it up and say yes, or if you really didn't want to take that points hit, you would then just go straight back to the Bahrain-esque sort of teams.
Yeah, the McLaren sort of.
Mercedes back in, you get rid of George Russell and you bring in the B-tier driver that looks like most likely to budget increase. So there's still a bit of leeway to go for that.
Yeah. Quickly before we move on, King James, no negative. Yes, it's an option. I just think there's more times to run it later on in the year with sprint races like Brazil, weather, that sort of things. That's all it is. But it is an option with so many rookies. 100% safety car, according to the Alpine press release. I don't believe in 100%. but I certainly believe in it. I think I called it a high percentage in my preview video. So yeah, a high percentage of a safety car, definitely. So definitely an option on that one.
Then on to the next team. Insert Williams for Mercedes and Gasly for Ocon just for this weekend, or leave in Mercedes and just swap Gasly and Ocon.
Insert Williams for Mercedes.
I wouldn't be the biggest fan of having Williams as one of the B tier constructors this weekend. I know they actually did look pretty sharp, but if you were going to go for a differential other than Haas as a cheap constructor, it would be the likes of Alpine.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that one. Rebecca's asked this a couple of times, Zach. Is it worth swapping out Russell for Lawson in order to switch VRB for Merck? Rest of the team is Piastri, Behrman, Doohan, Hajar, and McLaren.
So, again, no, this is the issue, Rebecca. If you could put in the chat after this, what is your game plan? Because if you're not planning to use Limitless next weekend, then 100% I'd say drop Russell for Lawson and then go over to from racing.
If you can't Limitless, keep Russell is what you're saying.
Yeah, so basically, yeah.
Is it better to go for points or budget this week? Debate and take out Durham. It's really a personal choice, yeah. So I don't think there's much between them, to be honest. And we've seen even between us, we're obviously split. You know, Adam's gone for points rather than budget. You know, Zach's gone for budget on that point of view. So absolutely. I mean, it's a personal one. People will say we're still quite early, so budget gain's really important. Others will say we're at the point now where actually, if you lose too much ground in points, it's a lot to make up because everyone else is starting to gain budget. So it is genuinely a real coin toss between which one you want to do.
Well, it is quite funny how it's just all worked out as well, though, because I was saying that we didn't need to budget gain that much anymore until Bahrain happened, and then all of the BTA drivers looked so rubbish, and I was like, I don't know if I can sit with that. I'm
not going to budget gain in here, Zach. I'm going to drop Mercedes for half and build budget. Brilliant.
It's a masterclass.
Would you run Kimi and Haas or Russell and Racing Bulls? I would run Kimi and Haas.
Yeah, again, I think it's one of those things we've spoken about quite a bit where it's just the safety of that team. Whereas you're not really trying to go crazy on the points if you have the likes of who was it, Kimi and Haas? Did they say?
Kimi and Haas. So yeah,
you're very much focusing on just making sure you get that good budget increases. But anyway, let's head back on to the team selections. Thinking about Limitless in Miami, so considering different setups, and I think we're getting to the point where we're seeing everyone's in the same predicament.
Yeah, definitely. I think, if you're Limitless in Miami, are you going second or third one? Which one of those you choosing, Zach? Lawson.
It would be the third one if you're Limitless in Miami, just because of the B tier constructors look so much easier this weekend to get that 0.6 compared to any B tier driver. I mean, hey, if Alpine even just get Gasly in the top 10, that's 5 points right there, and that's quite a nice, comfortable cushion. And that's not even with obviously the points that whoever it is. It'd most likely be Gasly, but I won't say that. Would also get the points for being in the top 10 as well, wherever they are from 1st to 10th. Yeah, again, it's just Alpine instead of Haas. Yeah. So it is Alpine. If you really want to make sure you get the most extracted out of this weekend while also budgeting, Alpine, yes. But you've just got to make sure you recognize that there is a bit of risk involved in all of it.
Yeah. Just to answer that question quickly, what's your best choice for Limitless? The Sims are saying Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, Leclerc, McLaren and Mercedes is what they're saying. And I think the 2X are saying on Norris at the moment is what the Sims are saying, JS. Hope that helps.
And then, looking at the poll as well, it's not completely 50-50, but 63% are going budget gaining this weekend, a 37 going points all the way. So it's not the biggest buffer I've ever seen in my life.
Not at all. So Melissa, so welcome, Melissa. She's managed to get onto the app and downloaded last week. Was in the chat last week. So welcome. Main team, daughter team, wildcard team. Wow.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah. And pick this one's out while I think about what to do. Rachel's asked me what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit and have a look now.
Right, I see. So I would say on the main team, Signs realistically would be the one to go in that situation. And you'd probably want to bring Signs down to the likes of you could even do Bortoletto or Ocon, I would say. And then either you would increase Mercedes to McLaren if you only got 2 free transfers. And if you have an extra one, I would then go Williams to Haas. Or if you want a bit of extra points, Williams to Alpine. Then for your daughter's team, similar situation where Albon, he is usable. So that's not too much of an issue. And I would say overall that team's completely fine because I don't think the budget growth has happened enough to get to the likes of George Russell in that team. So I think the second team's fine. And then the wildcard team, wow, yeah. Kimi Antonelli 2 times. That is audacious. Again, I would definitely say try to get rid of the Williams up to either a Haas or an Alpine. My money's on Haas, just safer budget increases, but Alpine if you want to try to get those extra points. And then, yeah, again, it would be getting rid of Signs again, potentially down to a Bortoletto as well. Right. So I'll also get into some of the messages in the chat. So Rach asks, if a majority of players are going for budget builds, could be another good reason to go Limitless to be different. Yeah, to be fair, that is also true because then you know that we are going for less points this weekend, which could suggest that, well, it wouldn't suggest, that would mean potentially you'd get more points because we're going for lower points and you're going for the Limitless, which would get you more points. So I see I see how that could work out. Silver Penguin asks, looking to use Limitless in Miami, would Russell and either VCarb or Alpine be safer than Kimi and Haas? So if you would, it would be Russell and Alpine. But it's one of those things where if it takes negative transfers to get from Kimi and Haas to Russell and Alpine, no. And then also, I still just to this day think there's no reason not to play safe with Haas because the building budget team isn't trying to get any crazy points. It'd be lovely to get these massive points, but realistically, I don't think Alpine are going to get crazy amounts more than Haas this weekend. And then finally, I'll head on to some of the other teams. Yeah, very similar, Joe, over to on these sorts of teams where we have Piastri, McLaren, and Mercedes. Again, it's slightly different. Oh, double Alpine. I quite like that with the just as a differential. But again, it probably would be dropping Doohan down to someone like a Bortoletto, like you've done in Team 3. I think my favorite on that sort of situation would be the team. Well, actually, it would be Team 3 for what you had there, but it would be Adam's team where you have Doohan down to Bortoletto and Gasly instead. And then Rebecca asks, follow up, if targeting Limitless next week and therefore keeping Russell, should I switch VCarb for Alpine, keeping the rest of the team, Piastri, Russell, Behrman, Doohan, Hadjar? If you've got the free transfer, I would say go for it because I think Alpine is still a better shout than Racing Bulls this weekend. So that's completely fine. Then heading on to the final rest of the teams, unsure what to do with Doohan. Alonso may... Oh, yes. So that was one of the other questions. Alonso or Doohan. Now, I believe, I won't put words into Terry's mouth. I'll say just me for now. But I believe we both... I said I preferred Alonso to Doohan. So I
would go experience. So, yeah, if it's a swap between the two, I think Alonso around here is probably more likely to not put it in the barriers, I'd say. So now that we've said that, I'll go the opposite and keep doing. If you want to hit refresh in a minute, Zach, I've also posted my team.
Oh, okay. Let's have a look. Oh, he's gone for it. Oh, I'm really, you know what? I'm really happy that's happened because that now means me, you, and Adam are all on different paths.
It'd be a long season. It'd be a long season
Yeah.
if we all put the same team, wouldn't it? Let's be honest about it. Yeah, it would be a really long season if we all had the same team week in, week out, wouldn't it? Satya discussed it. So yeah, there you go.
Oh,
there's
Norris 2 times as well.
Yes. I toyed with that one, to be honest. But yeah, it's done. It's going to make or break, isn't it?
I like it. Honestly, I do
bold,
like it.
It's bold.
But that's the thing, isn't it? With F1 Fantasy, you've got to go sometimes with these massive pushes, potentially in a different direction to what most of the crowd's doing to try get into that top 1,000.
Yeah, just to answer your question, mate, I went purely because I think Kimi will pick up more than what Yuki will, in terms of over Red Bull, not the max factor. I think that Kimi's got more chance to gate crash this a bit more and get some more points than what Yuki potentially has. So, yeah, watch that one come bite me.
Yeah, look.
Ferrari, yeah, see, Mercedes and Ferrari, I'm not fancying the Lewis Hamilton effect at the moment. He's not showing me enough. So yeah. Ouch.
I'll just have a look as well. I've just noticed as well, we're over 100 likes already on the live stream. Thank you all so much for that. That's the second live stream in a row we've got up to 100.
We probably missed everybody's lineups while we've been chatting. Yeah, like 9 minutes ago. There's like 100 people sat here thinking, Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
Literally, yeah. So Flash Edge is surprised I took Mercedes over Ferrari. I went with the Sims. I'm not going to lie. The Sims swayed me on that one.
I have a feeling
I might change it yet.
Of course, yeah, it's Limitless.
I can change it still.
So 9 minutes to go, everyone. Make sure to get your team selections locked in, or try to get them over to the FanAmp so that we can have a quick look at them. But I will say all of them are very similar at the minute. And like always, it's very much been which strategy are you going for? Depends on which one is better.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one here, 2.1 million predicts, 1.5, 1.5. I quite like one in the middle.
Yeah, that's interesting as well, because that one, I haven't even thought about it like that as well. But let's say there was any issues with this sort of team selection where you have Piastri and Russell, and they have one transfer, so they get free transfers in Miami. Yep. That could really save the team if anything drastically terrible happens.
Absolutely, or an update coming through which storms someone back into it.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, definitely, I will go middle one on that one. Definitely, I like that middle one.
Oh, cannot decide between the three. To be fair, with all the talk we've had with Alonso, I believe this is the first team we've seen him in, if my memory is correct.
I think a couple might have had him sort of hovering, maybe as a.
Oh, okay.
Team 2 or team 3?
I still think Ocon is the safer option just because of the big points in Bahrain. And obviously Alonso doesn't have that big point. He just has the 4 points and 5.
Has to look more comfortable with Aston Martin still, don't they, to be honest? Yeah, definitely.
So team 2 for actually, and then there is the Gasly one as well.
Oh yeah,
we know what Adam would say.
Yeah, Adam would say team 1.
I still like the looks of team 2.
And for another option, you could go Hassan Russell as well, just to throw that one into the mix. I mean, if you're going for budget, Hassan Russell is a good one, to be honest, and gives you an alternative out. So I would say it would get you quite similar points, potentially, not too far off, and get you some safe budget with that Hassan.
Oh, so this is an interesting question because, by the way, in general, we can get more points in a sprint race weekend for using Limitless than why go for a non-sprint race weekend. And this is where it gets interesting because it gets into the overtake situation. Now, Miami, from what we saw last time, there's quite a lot of movement on the grid, which ends up with B-tier assets actually sometimes outscoring some of those Limitless drivers you had. Whereas at a track like Jeddah, to defend the Limitless, even though I'm not using it, at a track like Jeddah, there's less overtakes, so more likely that the big teams score big and the lower teams don't score much, basically.
Melissa, you're fine. We got 5 minutes. We're fine. 5 minutes, Ash. Is there anything else we need to look at?
Oh, let me see.
Apparently, there's a couple of more lineups. We need to speed through these. Just
right,
refresh.
budget building.
Hit refresh quickly. Apparently, there's another couple of lineups in there. So,
oh my god, there's so many. Right, let's speed run through it.
Right,
Piastri, McLaren, Haas. That is quite comfortable for budget building. I'm assuming you don't have Russell enough for Russell.
Yeah. Go next one.
If we're talking about pure,
it will put you, I'd say, potentially miss out on a lot of points, but that's a tough one, to be honest. That's a tough one.
It'd be nice in an ideal world, but
it's a gamble with that Alpine and Haas, isn't it? You could miss out on a lot of points, and the DNF in there is going to absolutely wipe you out.
do have to weigh up when it's too many points you're missing out on.
Yeah,
because not having McLaren is basically compared to Alpine. Let's say Alpine have a good weekend and they get 20 to 30 points. McLaren would most likely get around 80-ish, so 50 points you'd be losing just for a 0.3 difference.
Yeah.
In budget, I don't think that's worth it for me. And okay, never mind. I believe that is all of them.
We should go back to full screen. We can be done. Yeah, that's it. Whew. All of that. We've got time to spare. We can sit, drink coffee. Perfect.
Perfect.
So I'm at max rule. Is triple McLaren a play? Yes, Nat. I would say if you can. Someone's putting there. If you can get to triple McLaren, I would say play it. Just how strong they look around here again still.
Yeah.
I would say if you can get to it, then try and play it. Definitely.
Terry, look at that in the chat as well. Natalie has gone for my team and her husband has gone for your team. So
that could make it awkward tomorrow, couldn't it? Good luck to Natalie's household. So someone's going to be celebrating at the two, I imagine.
But right, everyone, make sure you lock in your teams. Do not forget, because of course there's 3 minutes to the deadline. You do not want to miss out on that.
George, I went for Merck. So yeah. So where are you located? In my shed. You have an outlet or something like that. I like the wall behind you. No, this is my shed. So purely cosmetic. So the sign was off a gentleman online. Who made it for me about 12 months ago now, and this is all from the shed at the bottom of my garden, basically. so yeah, that's where this comes from.
That's Red Bull Racing or Mercedes.
Personally, I went for Mercedes just purely on the second one, but I don't think you can go wrong, George with Red Bull. If I'm honest, I think that they're come back into play. Yuki's looks comfortable with the car, I'd say, apart from that obviously free practice too. But for me, it's safer for. To be honest, I was only really thinking Mercedes or Ferrari, and Lewis has put me off the Ferrari one, but it could have been a differential between the two. To be honest, it was a straight swap. Liam Lawson, yes or no?
He was one of the middle ground ones. I would say no, just because I think Ocon and Gasly.
So say yes or no. Is that they're like a minute away from?
No, I say no.
Zach, thank you for hopefully we did Adam proud. Hopefully we did all right.
I'm sure he'll be chuffed with what we did.
Thank you all for bearing with us. That's it, mate. I think we're almost done, aren't we? We're literally about a minute away. So I think we've got enough time to say thank you, enough time to say good luck, everybody. We'll see you all in a couple of weeks. That's for sure. Appreciate you bearing with us. Appreciate you actually, getting through our technical problems, getting through our non-Adam stream. Adam will be back. Normal service will be resumed, I'm sure. And
of course,
that's what's left to say. Melissa,
good luck, everyone.
Yeah, Melissa, don't get frustrated. It's all fun. It's all learning curve. Nothing to be frustrated on that front. And we will try and help and guide as much as we can. So we should do a post-quality reaction video. I'll just drop some tears at potentially. You watch it all go out the window. Last time I played Limitless, it was a disaster last season. So yeah, all to play for us.
Only up from here then.
That's it. That's it. You know, I'm never going to win it anyway, so it's fine. It's all good, and it makes it's a great talking point, doesn't it? Like we said, all running different teams, so yeah, it's all good fun. All good fun, that's for sure. So
that is the deadline, everyone.
That's it. We are at 6 o'clock. Thank you, Zach. Thank you very much. Thank you very
Yes, of course. A pleasure.
Yeah. You know, thank you everyone for joining us. Huge thank you for everyone liking the video. Really appreciate that one. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Catch you all later.
Take care, everyone.